Hello and welcome to the Arn and Eddie experience. My name is Eddie Siburns. Joining me again, as always, is Arn Furious. It's almost
Hi,
like if I keep doing it every time, we're neither of us are going to change since we're in the name. But Arn, how you doing? You okay?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. My voice seems to be struggling somewhat. We did talk for quite a long time yesterday. So yesterday we did an Arsenal podcast with JP Houlihan, and it was really good. So like you can
Yes.
find that down in the
Down below in the
that
list of
down in the
episodes.
video library. That was number 5. So that was really good. While you're down there, might as well hit the subscribe button.
The like and subscribe is down below, and we've got one coming up as well on Sunday. We won't reveal who just yet. Quite interesting for both of us because we don't know a lot about the team this person supports, so I'm going to be very interested to listen to them. We are going to try and keep this as short and sweet as possible, obviously because of Arn's voice. He needs to rest his lovely pipes. So let's start. Let's not get too far into anything. Let's get right into it though about this. Where we're going to talk about fans invading Old Trafford, Arn.
Yes,
Um, Jumping
yes,
in, postponing the Manchester United Liverpool game. How dare they?
good.
How dare those fans? As some people are saying, it's ruined my Sunday or Saturday, whenever it was. This Sunday,
I
sorry.
quite enjoyed sitting there watching the pundits go back and forth for 2 hours trying to kill time, and watching Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville being on the same page and going like, "Yeah, this is fine." And what's presenter man's name?
Dave Jones. Dave
Dave
Jones.
Dave Jones.
Yeah, love
Brian,
me a
love me a Brian.
protest. Hello,
Yes,
Brian.
mate.
Um,
Dave Jones, coward that he is, sitting up there in the studio going, "Oh, we must condemn this." Like a week ago, you were saying that the Super League was a disgrace and that the Glazers are a disgrace, and this week, oh, your backbone's gone, mate. It's gone. Where's your
um,
spine?
it was pretty much Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville against Dave Jones and Graham Souness, who
Oh,
loved
good Lord.
to flip flop about what the actual real reason was because he was like, "Oh, it's because of the position they're in currently," and it's like, what are you on, pal?"
When Souness
Um,
was saying that he thought they were protesting because they weren't like in the semi-finals of the Champions League, that was the biggest load of nonsense of the entire thing. Is Souness saying that because he has he not been paying attention? I mean, I'm not a Man United supporter, but like they've been protesting the Glazers for the last 10 years,
yeah, there
and
was
they were
a
successful at the start of that, and they knew this was coming, so they protested it. They kept on protesting it. They created their own team,
yep,
FC United of Manchester, and then
yep.
they spent like 10 years protesting the Glaziers. The Glaziers have done exactly what they said they were going to, which is try and rake in as much money as possible. They
Hmm.
haven't kept the ground, they haven't spent money, and the end result is that United are a shadow of what they used to be. It's a complete fluke that they're in second place in the league.
Um, I mean, the money has been spent. It's just not been spent fully at Old Trafford. It has been spent at the Raymond James Stadium for their beloved Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Quite.
Super Bowl winning champions, and probably the majority of the monies went to Tom Brady's contract.
So to
Um,
say that they're protesting because Man United's not doing well in the, for starters, Man United are doing well in the league. They're massively overachieving for what they've got. But to say that's the reason for it is completely wrong. Um,
yeah,
and the protest is very much a protest of the Glazers' greed. They bought themselves a brand and they wanted to
hmm
suck as much money out of that brand as possible. And they deserve what they got.
yeah. There was a picture in 2010 I saw, and someone tweeted it, where it was fans in the stadium wearing the yellow and green scarves and kind of
Yeah.
waving them. And then that was again a protest towards the Glazers. I think the Man United fans have every right to do what they did. There was certain aspects of it that were a bit dangerous, obviously, like the flare and stuff like that. But as I say, the Glazers are clearly interested in, as you said, one thing and one thing only, and that is money. and using this brand to gain more money. And unfortunately, the fans are not happy with that. If you go back to that picture, that boy who was on the
Oh,
who
the
was
boy
on
on
the
the
top,
nest. Yeah,
he's probably the one who fell over in that video I sent you. um,
probably
but
yes.
yeah, I mean, we'll see where it goes from here. The game got delayed. It was supposed to be kicking off at 4:30. Instead, got delayed, and then finally postponed, which I thought was a really funny moment to watch it get postponed. And then Carragher and Neville are looking at whoever's off camera, going, "Oh, it's off, it's off."
Yeah, both
And
of
then
them, Neville and Carragher, they both kept their reputation intact throughout the whole thing. Souness is a joke. Micah Richards really struggled because he's a brand ambassador for Man City, and he's like, I'm not saying anything bad about Man City. So it was a struggle for him, some of the boys in the studio. But Neville and Carragher, straight in there, gave the Glaziers what they deserved, which is what for.
And I think for Neville, it is a little bit kind of, why has this not been your position before? Because there has been, the Salford stuff is kind of something that everyone will throw back at Neville because of the money he's piling into that and kind of expecting success. I remember someone mentioning it. I mean, it's not really a massive thing.
To be fair to him, he's employed 600 people. Yeah. He's given jobs to that part of the community, and he's built it as a community team. And I don't see what's wrong with that.
I think some people have seen it as a little bit of an issue, but then it's like talking about greed and money in football.
Yeah, he hasn't he hasn't got a load of money, wanted more money, and gone into a big club and gone, I want that. Yeah. He's taken a small club and gone, I'm going to invest in it and push it up through the divisions. And if you support a small, non-league team, this is the dream.
Yeah.
Like, you want somebody who's passionate about that club and wants it to move up through the divisions. That's all you want.
I mean, we're looking. He wants to turn on investment by getting to the Premier League. Yeah, I mean, that's what he wants. I mean, of course, that's what they want.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair.
And I mean, here's the thing: Brian's second bit is if the Premier League died, it would kill his investment. I mean, the thing is the Premier League obviously if the Super League had happened, then would the Premier League have died, or would it have just massively dropped a lot of interest in it? Most likely, yes. Again, I think we're both in agreement here. The protests were completely valid and reason. I do think I think throwing flares and stuff like that when there are people there, presenters, is a bit. And again, that's just my opinion. I just think it's a bit too far, but they are still allowed to protest. I
saw there was a cop with some blood on his cheek or something, but I didn't see any violence in there. I just saw protesting. I think they've got every right to do that.
And I think Mike's right. Obviously, having obviously fan-owned clubs is obviously a good way forward in terms of that. But
again, that's why they want to push this 50+1 thing through. But whether that happens or not, I don't know.
And I mean, we'll see. Again, time will tell. And speaking of obviously the 50+1 clubs, we were going to move on to our next story, which is BT Sports might be dead, or might be moving on to, might be getting sold off. ESPN might be making a comeback, or maybe Disney maybe Amazon might buy into it. But that would obviously lose. That would mean the Champions League, the Europa League, the WWE, UFC.
There's a lot of stuff on that BT Sports package, and the reason why it's not doing so well is because there is a lot of stuff on that BT Sports package. They've gone in for rights on the Champions League. They've got Premier League games, which I think that's really what's killing them, is the fact that they're trying to compete with Sky on Premier League. But they've got the Champions League, the Europa League, they've got League 1, they've got the Bundesliga, they're paying for UFC, they're paying for boxing rights, they've got MotoGP, WWE that they're paying for. They're paying out a lot of money in rights.
And they are.
To be competitive. And they probably don't need to pay all that out, if I'm honest.
I mean, they are trying to get more back on their revenue. With obviously the UFC fights, certain ones are going on their pay-per-view.
The fact they have to put stuff onto their pay-per-view service, that shows that they're hemorrhaging money because they've paid too much. And in particular, it's the Premier League. And the reason why the Premier League is so successful as a global entity is because there is a demand for it. The Premier League fans just have this insatiable urge for the Premier League. I just like watching football. I don't really care what league it's in.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the thing, because if you remember when BT Sports started, the UFC, the main UFC shows would be just straight on there. And then suddenly they've started to bring in their box office stuff. They've brought it in with WWE stuff, which I'm still baffled by. When you have a network that has the entire content of their pay-per-views and stuff like that, I'm still baffled as to why someone would pay, $16.99 or however much it is, or £17 for it. I mean, again, I understand that it's going to be shown in pubs and stuff like that, but it is just something that still baffles me. I mean, they have tried to compete with Sky. Sky have been in this for quite some time. Again, the suitors were going to be the likes of Amazon, Disney, DAZN.
I've deliberately put in the spreadsheet how to pronounce it, because I was like, DAZN. DAZN.
Yeah, I remember DAZN did something with Sky when it was promoting one of the YouTuber boxing fights. So again, I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen with that. I love Brian using the emojis. Oh,
thank you,
brilliant. Brian. I mean, here's the thing. Sky has been, and I say this in the work that I am employed in, which I won't go into too much detail about. I do listen and I hear this stuff every day, and it is a case of the market has become very saturated. There are more providers for stuff. There was a bidding war between Sky and BT for the Champions League, and BT did, they did what they were going to do. They wanted to break the bank, and I think people in my company knew that this is going to backfire on them a little bit, because you cannot spend that much and hope, you're not always going to get the returns for it. People who own or have sports subscriptions are not always there for Champions League. Champions League is probably a small, minute percentage of it. When they lost all the Scottish football and went back to Sky, I think that kind of swayed back and forth. But again, it's all about what content people watch. I think, because I remember if you were a BT Sports customer or BT Broadband and Talk customer, you automatically got BT Sports free with your BT, and then they started to charge for it again. I think it was like 10 or 5 10.
Yeah, it used to be a deal. It's like you get on BT and you get BT Sports for free, and they don't do that anymore.
And if you look at it, look at the providers that Sky have faced off against, who have become these kind of, you've had like Satanta, you had that small time where it was ESPN, and then obviously now you've got BT, and BT have done, they've put in, a lot to get in out of it. Of course, it was. There was a long time where people were, would be very frustrated when you had to have BT only to have it.
Yeah, I used to go and watch games that are on BT. I'd go and watch like down the pub or down. My dad's a member of the tennis club, so we go down the tennis club down the road and watch games on BT Sport. But I have BT Sport at the moment, and I really enjoy their programming. I think they have a nice range of stuff, and also the wrestling.
The coverage they have is and the kind of way they're presenting it is quite well, because you've not only got BT, the BT Sports 1, BT Sports 2, you've then got that BT Sports ESPN channel.
Yeah. That's where I watched all the March Madness stuff. That was all on BT Sports.
When the March Madness.
So there's MotoGP, there's a load of stuff though. What am I outing myself as a Tory?
That's because
my dad just really likes tennis, mate. That's
just wait till we get the coverage of Wimbledon going on, and he's here to go and like Cliff Richard. I think, they have the baseball coverage as well. They have a lot to do with it. Whether it will carry on, I say it depends. I mean, would Amazon want to
DAZN
for it?
Don't have a lot of UK presence, so it wouldn't surprise me if this was their way in to be like a number 2 for sports broadcasting. Amazon have kind of been poking around. They've kind of they've put a bit of tennis on. They've had a few Premier League rights last season, so that they are kind of eyeballing a move into sports, and they are like the richest company in the world at the moment, so they can certainly afford it. There's also Disney apparently are interested, and there is a murmur that ITV might be interested. But personally, I think ITV just wants the Champions League.
If Disney get in on it, then BT rebrands itself as ESPN because Disney owns about 80% of ESPN or something like that. So I wouldn't be surprised. I'd like to see coverage go back to. I would love to see the Champions League back on Freeview television and back on ITV. I don't think they'll get Jim Rosenthal back in again because I don't know if he's the one who's a UKIP member or is it maybe
I legitimately thought he was dead.
If Jim Rosenthal is dead, I'm so sorry for disgracing your name, Jim Rosenthal.
No, he's not. He's not dead.
No,
sorry, I thought he was dead.
No,
my apologies to Jim Rosenthal, who is alive.
Apologies to Jim Rosenthal. I mean, I'm curious. Yeah, no, it's Des Lynam. It's Des Lynam who's the UKIP one, I think. Yep, there we go. Thank you.
Well, Ollie thinks Des Lynam's dead as well, so like it's.
But
gave his eyes to science.
Is Des Lynam alive? That's your.
There it is.
Is he dead? Is he alive?
No, he's alive.
Okay, he's alive. Right,
he's alive, but apparently he donated his eyes.
So yeah, I'd be curious.
We're getting a little bit off the track.
What was it called again? It was owned by the guy. 11 Sports. Like, do you remember 11 Sports and stuff like that? Like, that's another one that fell on its backside. I'd be very curious to see how it goes. DAZN, maybe. Disney, maybe. If Disney do it, I think I would hope they would do the thing where they're doing a agreement with, a deal with ITV, where there is still one game shown on live free tier television, because I think they used to do it where they had this free channel BT Sports where people could watch a game or something like that. It was completely ridiculous. It needs to be made more easier for fans. And again, this content, if BT, 11 Sports, it was in the UK and then it died on its backside here, and I think it's still existing elsewhere.
In Portugal, clearly.
In Portugal, clearly. Yal keeps it alive with his monthly subscription to that. They have Champions League, League One.
See, that's very similar to the layout for BT Sport at the moment, apart from Formula One, which is owned by Sky. It's a shame that BT Sport is going, because I do like the package. I do enjoy what they put on, and I'll probably watch it more than I watch Sky, if I'm perfectly honest. I mean, that's no jab at Sky's coverage. It's just they have like a wider range of stuff that interests me.
They attract, they've got their markets. They've not only got the UK stuff and kind of European coverage, they've also got the American stuff as well, and American sports are quite popular here. If they had Madden, if they had NFL, I mean they're not, but if they did, it could be a massive changer. But Sky have luckily held on to the rights for that for quite a while. So we'll just see what happens. We'll keep an update if something if BT finally decides to pull the plug. I'd be very interested to see.
It is a very interesting development for me, because it means you might see all that stuff just kind of spread around over different things, or you might see somebody come in and go, "Ooh, I like what you've got there. Give me."
You'd maybe hear
Premier like DAZN's probably the one that's most likely to come in and just grab everything and just go, "Look, we want the whole lot."
Yeah, I mean, maybe you'd hear BT, and maybe not maybe BT, maybe you'd hear Premier Sports or something like that come in and take a couple of stuff, because it took La Liga, so I wouldn't be surprised if it went in for more European football. But we'll just need to see. But yeah, we'll keep updated. If there's anything else, we will let you know. We'll probably talk about it. We'll probably do it next time. What are we on to next?
The snooker.
Here we go. The bit where everyone decides to drop off, bar us. Okay. How have you been finding this year's snooker championships, Arn?
It's been pretty good. I've not watched a lot of snooker in quite some time, so like most of the players were relatively new to me. But there's been some, like the standard of play has been really good. I've enjoyed bits and pieces. I've enjoyed Neil Robertson's hair. That's been a real highlight. I'm kind of sad that Ronnie O'Sullivan didn't go deeper into the tournament, but he won last year, didn't he? So it's
he's a very he's if his mind's not in it at a point, then he does get punished quite a lot, Ronnie.
Yeah, he's a good promo though.
Oh, I mean,
I do love a Ronnie promo.
He's probably one of the only people who, and this is in my opinion, probably makes the game quite interesting. And can be quite he's very vocal in what he believes and how the game should change and how the game should act.
Judd Trump was pretty vocal before the tournament as well, because like he was saying that it doesn't appeal to young people. It sounded like Florentino Perez. So does he want shorter games of snooker? More fireworks or something?
Break off from Barry Hearn's snooker association and form a new one. I was watching parts of the qualifying. I saw that Stephen Hendry got absolutely battered 6-1, which is a shame because I remember he retired in 2012, and then obviously he's came back, and it's just like you feel so bad for the guy.
Yeah, well, he's still got 7 world titles. I shouldn't feel too bad.
I know, it's just one of those ones when they try to make a comeback and you go, "Oh, okay, maybe this will work," and then it doesn't work.
Right, back to the punditry with you. Back to the desk.
Back to the desk. And I like the usage of having like Judd Trump on the desk after he's been eliminated and stuff like that. I'm very sad that Martin Gold didn't get to qualify because he normally Martin Gold is clearly a wrestling fan, because I'm pretty sure his theme music, when I worked on the snooker, his theme music was King of Kings by Motorhead, and at one point was the game. So he's clearly a massive wrestling fan. But yeah,
that's from me.
But I was cheering on Anthony McGill. I wanted McGill to do well, and then he got eliminated by Bingham.
To be fair, Bingham, I know he's got a bit of a shiny head, but I think he was probably best dressed this year.
I mean, we do have to give
the bow tie is a beauty.
We do have to give Neil Robertson best hair, no doubt about it.
Yeah, I was looking around. I have like an Afro wig somewhere, and I was going to wear it and claim that it was my own hair, but like I couldn't find it for a bit of a sight gag, sadly.
No, not much of a wrestling fan if he likes trips. He probably does like to try and bury people with a sledgehammer, does Martin Gold. That is allegedly before anyone decides to sue me for libel. But yeah, I thought it was quite. I mean, I was quite interested. Higgins and Williams in the second round was quite interesting. I always like when John Higgins takes on Mark Williams. They seem to kind of have some good chemistry with them.
I have developed an incredible contempt for Mark Williams since he debuted that break. Where nobody's seen this. He basically hits it as softly as possible off the back cushion and then rolls it into the back of the pack. And it's like, I have done that once to annoy my brother, but like, who plays like that?
There was I'm trying to remember. I remember watching and just thinking I'm really annoyed by this at points. I'm like, what are you doing? And then I was just wondering, that's gonna cause so many re-racks. And I was just so frustrated. I don't want re-racks are just annoying when it happens because it takes even longer for the game to finish.
The final's been pretty good though. I've been really enjoying the final. It's been clipping along at a decent pace. There's been the odd shot where Selby's just stopped and gone like, and then like 5 minutes passed, and he's like,
yeah. I enjoyed watching. I enjoyed the fact this was the first time that both semi-finals had to go after one another, which I thought was a bit unfair because they obviously ran out of time. So it was basically, oh goodness, I'll pick up. So it was Kyron and Sean finished first, and then right after them it was Bingham and Selby, or maybe the other way around. But yeah, it was one of I did the Murphy Selby game has been quite an interesting one. I think there was a moment where.
Brian, I was going to say, like with the BBC having the rights for snooker, you can kind of just go on the iPlayer and just say, "Yes, I have a license."
Yeah, I don't think they're going to find you in Ireland.
Probably not.
But like there was a moment where like Murphy hadn't potted a ball in like 52 minutes.
Yeah,
And just
it was
some
an hour. It went an hour in the end.
and there was like some really just good like snooker play, and it was like defensive play in terms of that. And there was a moment, I can't remember whether it was the final or the semi, or it might have been even the quarters, but there was a moment in a game.
Nail it down, Eddie.
Nail it down to one of those. I cannot remember what
Yeah,
it is.
something has happened in the history of snooker at some point.
At one of these games, I can't remember what the game was. So yes, boo me for not remembering. But I think someone conceded like the most amount of points by missing a safety shot or something, by being snookered in terms of that, or most amount of points given away.
I can't remember saying that. I know there was a really good bit today where Mark Selby had got snookered behind the brown, and he decided that instead of playing off the cushions at the side, he was like, no, I'm going to find a rest and I'm going to play my shot from the other end of the table and over the top of the brown. And I'm like, what are you doing? When you see this, it's the thumbnail in the bottom hand corner is going to be that shot.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. And if I can find it, I'll put it up.
Selby seems to have like got control of it now, very much so.
Oh yeah, he's going to win now, I think.
And I do like Murphy. I think I remember his run in 2005.
There you go.
When he won it. Is this you showing off this shot now?
Yeah, that's the shot.
That's ridiculous.
So obviously he hit it about 2 inches the first time. Then he had another go at it, and he hit it, and the cue fell off and knocked over the brown as well. So it was good antics.
I mean, as I say, I did enjoy. It's going to be an interesting final. I do like Sean Murphy after being the first qualifier to win in 2005.
They've both been really good. It's been a great final. They've both played really well. I think Murphy has pulled off the best in terms of like breaks and potting and stuff, but Selby's just he's got it upstairs. He's too clever.
He's methodical. He's very methodical.
Yeah.
As I heard, when he's making a decision, when he's going for something, he wants to be 100% sure on it from what they've said, from what he said.
Apart from that one with the long,
yeah,
that was ridiculous.
I think he's just, I think with that he's just stuck on it and he's not looking back, you know. But there's some good snooker players kind of building their way up. Jack Lazowski, there's Liang Wenbo, there's there's some good ones there. Kyron Wilson. They were rewatching Kyron versus Anthony McGill from last year, the semi-final, which is quite possibly one of the best snooker matches of recent time. And if you have time, I would recommend going out and watching it. I just remember watching that and just thinking, oh, that was just brilliant. And it's just that way where it's like, they're talking about Kyron and Kyron's thinking, oh, I think I might have won this. And then like, no, another 30 minutes of snooker carries on and they've only got like 6 balls left on the table or something like that.
It can be absolutely magical snooker. Like it's hard to explain to people who don't really follow it, but it's just it can be magical.
Yeah, and they were showing a thing in between today where it was kind of like showing the history of it and like the Davis Taylor final and stuff like that, and just building up to the rise of Stephen Hendry. And it's when the World Championships on and the UK Championships on, it's always something that you try and make sure to sit and watch. And the final's on at the moment, so I'm gonna probably after this end up watching it. And we'll see how it goes.
Oh yeah, totally. So we should probably go and talk about Formula One and then like finish, so we can go and watch the end of the snooker.
So we'll take about 5 minutes and talk about Formula One. It happened. There was racing. It was you weren't feeling well, so you kind of fell asleep. You'd had your jab, I think, had you not?
I had my COVID jab like the week before, and I wasn't like massively tired, but I hadn't slept well the night before, and I was just like, I'm tired.
we were consistently watching it, and you were yawning, and I was kind of pretty sure midway through it was just a case of Arn. I think it's time you go have a nap.
Yeah, I just went and had a bit of a lie down, and I went to go and turn the race. Basically, I went like upstairs, and there's a TV upstairs. So I went upstairs, went to switch the TV on, realised I'd left it on down here, and I wasn't allowed to watch it in both places. So I was like,
17-14. Murphy's pulled back one, but will it go to? I don't. It's still Selby's to lose. Of course.
I usually don't need the naps. But...
Old man Arn. Oh, the future is now, old man. So yeah, Portimao, F1 in Portimao. McLaren is doing really, really well. Norris is all 3 races so far, top 5 finish.
It was a race.
It's looking challenging still, but Hamilton just, once he overtook Bottas, he just never looked back. It's gonna be, I think it's still exciting. Mazepin is I just, every time I check and I see that Mazepin is like, he was like what, 12 seconds or 32 seconds behind his
potential rain in Spain next week. Very excited about that.
How can you say Portimao but not say Yao? I've just said both of them.
He's fuming.
He's always fuming. I don't think he's ever happy.
I'm just going to put up my fantasy team. So I've actually got up to 4th this week, despite the fact that I still had Vettel in there as the turbo driver. He got 8 points, so he did great. But yeah, Hamilton got 43 because he won. I got Norris in there. I've now switched the turbo driver over to Norris, and I've actually replaced Vettel with Carlos Sainz.
Okay.
So one would hope I'm going to be pushing for the top of the
Zhao. Hold on, sorry, I'm doing this thing. If you want to pick up my team anyway, is it Zhao? Is that how I'm pronouncing it? Then please tell me if that's correct. My team is there. I'm third. Oh no, I'm no longer third. If I was third, where am I?
I'm confused. Is that just for that race or?
Yeah, there we go. I'm third. Team Go Fast Room. There I am.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, well, technically I'm 9th, but like I came 4th.
You're also still at the bottom. I'm not Dutch. I'm not doing this. You can argue with me after in my DMs. You can show me some video of how to pronounce your name.
Yeah.
Arn hates Aston Martin. Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking, yeah, there we go. So I've got Verstappen, Norris, Tsunoda, Gasly. I had Gasly as the
turbo driver. Should have been Norris, right? But then I should have had Norris as the turbo driver. It was both poor.
I'm starting. I was doing my softball training, so I completely forgot about.
Brian, I think you might be able to join it. I'm not sure.
I will be making some changes.
DM me because I will forget.
I'll be making some changes. I think Tsunoda may be getting changed and Sainz may be getting changed. So
who would you put in there instead of Tsunoda? I've literally just put Sainz in there.
Well, I was thinking Bottas. I mean, I'm also quite confused as to why
you even afford Bottas.
I probably could if I get rid of Sainz and Tsunoda, but I'll need to have a look at it. I'm still surprised you had Mick Schumacher in, and there he is, champion of all.
Great.
Look at that Raikkonen.
He had Norris as the turbo driver. Smart move.
Raikkonen.
These things happen.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll be very interested to see when the next race goes. We'll talk about this in terms of a quick update as well. Finally, for one other thing, the prediction league. I'm pretty sure I'm 5th. Because I've not been predicting well, especially when you're giving me games like Djurgårdens or whatever their name, however you pronounce them, versus Malmo. And Copenhagen versus AGF, which I did win.
I'm pulling the table up so we can just have a quick look at that. This is the prediction league, the prestigious prediction league.
Many great people are.
Who's top, Eddie?
Yao is top. Yao.
Yao.
If he keeps, I'm gonna just pronounce his name anyways. Wow, as Owen Wilson would say. Harris, then Mort, then Rob, then me. And Rob, shout out to Rob for week 12. Absolutely dominated
Week
it with
12, 12 points in week 11. Absolutely outstanding.
and
Remarkable
slowly
work.
and pulling up the rear.
Yeah,
Just
let's
in the
not. No, we don't
last
need to
car
say that.
is Arn Furious. But yeah, we will, and obviously, if people want to join for next year, we'll probably have one for people who want to. We'll probably add more people in next year. You think?
Yeah, we're going to do Euros as well. So we'll do one for the Euros and
And
let's go
Arn
like
and
this.
Eddie. It's going to be called the Arn and Eddie Football Prediction League now. We've renamed it, rebranded it. It's all about us. You can all be guests if you want to talk about your teams. But yeah, that
Jowd is
is
more than me on there anyway, so like, might as well be his prediction league. He's top anyway, so he's going to win it.
it's yeah. Well, we'll see how long that lasts. There's 1 point between him and Harris, so. But yeah, that is us for another week.
Nice.
Been a bit quick because, as I say, Arn's almost losing his voice. We have a guest for next week. It will be on Sunday, hopefully roughly about 12:30, 1 o'clock, if we're both awake. So we're very excited about that. We'll probably reveal it maybe an hour before, maybe or so. Did what we did last
I'll
time.
probably forget. I'll probably reveal it like a minute before it's on, which is kind of what happened this week.
Yeah, knowing Arn, he'll just, we'll go for a little bit of a surprise, and then suddenly I go on Twitter and go, he's revealed who it is. Okay, then. I have been Eddie Sideburns. He has been Arn Furious. We will see you all next week. Also, as I say, drop a like and subscribe and watch all our content. It's somewhat fun. It's somewhat entertaining.
Yeah, if you missed it, the interview thing that we did with JP yesterday is great. I watched the whole thing again like today. It's really good. So.
Yeah, go listen to it while you're on a jog or you're doing something else. Who knows? God knows. Anyway, God bless. It's been a pleasure to be with you, and we will see you all on Sunday and Monday next week. Bye bye.